Hi, ladies. How you
Hello.
doing tonight?
Good, good.
Hi,
Hey,
Beth. Hi, Megan.
how are ya?
I'm good. How's California?
It's amazing. I have no complaints. And Beth, you're in Florida. How's Florida?
I am in Florida. It's
Wow.
becoming a beautiful spring.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Well, let's get this party started. For anyone who has come on and is watching, we have Beth Moran with us. She is the powerhouse behind Equine Trail Sports. As the director of events, she helped shape the experience of riders nationwide, training hosts and judges since 2018 and overseeing an incredible 250 events. How are you not tired?
I don't physically go to them for the most part. I am their phone support. So our hosts train in one of two ways. I'll either travel to their very first event and hold their hand through their very first event and train them and their people, or they can go shadow with a mentor host. And from that point forward, they're hosts for us. And then we are constantly there and available for them by phone for any problems, questions, or concerns that they have. I've literally had a host call me in the middle of a writers meeting going, "Hey, they asked me this. What do I say?" And so I'll say, "Hey, you say this, turn around, you got this," so we're their support system for any problems with writers, rules, technical problems, whatever it is, we want to be there to support them.
Well, this is so exciting. It's so exciting to have you on. And you're also going to be at Midwest Horse Fair giving clinics, and you're also going to have a booth. I have it written down. You're going to be in the expo hall, booth 612. So if anybody wants to meet you, and you're giving clinics, which we can talk about later. I want to know how you got started in horses. How did you find your love of horses and trail?
Oh gosh, my love of horses. I think I was born with it. Weren't we all? I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. My family was in cattle and wheat. And I've always been around horses. I've always had horses in my life in one way or another. I mean, the best wedding present I got was a horse, So, and then from there, we left the Washington State and moved to Florida for jobs and whatnot. And the deal was I would go if the horse came. And so, that's just the way it is. So yeah, I don't how I got into horses, born loving them and always had them and always been around them. So that's all there is to it.
Did you compete or do anything as a kid? Did you do 4-H or?
No, I didn't, oddly enough. It was a working cattle ranch. And so our horses were used for day-to-day cattle. We didn't do a lot of competing. I didn't start competing until I was an adult, and I competed in obstacles. I competed, throughout the Southeast in obstacles. I really enjoyed it. Started hosting obstacle events. And then stumbled across Equine Trail Sports and got to communicating with them and found that my moral and ethical values really aligned with their moral and ethical values, which is important to me. And I really liked their system. Their system really spoke to my horsemanship of, putting my partnership first, keeping my horse in a place where they aren't being thrown off a cliff and where they're enjoying their job as well. And ETS's format really provides that. Every obstacle is set up on 3 levels, and the rider chooses when they arrive at the obstacle, the difficulty they want to do. So they can, if they're good at something, they can ride up. If they're developing at something, they can ride down. Maybe they challenge themselves at the last obstacle and maybe, boogered their confidence or their equine's confidence a little bit so they can ride down and build that up again. So we always call it a choose your challenge. So you can be as competitive or as non-competitive as you want to be. You can ride with your friends and family and everybody can have the experience that they want. So that's important to me. And so I found that I really like that. And I really like supporting that. So yeah, so I started riding with them. I started hosting with them. And then they asked me to start training their judges. And then they asked me to work for them. And I said, yes. So that's how I got started with ETS. And that's kind of my competitive background is obstacles as well. And it just kind of progressed naturally into that.
And for anyone who's watching that doesn't know what obstacles are, can you kind of break that down? What is that?
Obstacles are everything. First and foremost, we're a trail organization. So our competitions can be held out on a trail, an actual trail, of 5 to 10 miles or 2 to 4 miles. Or it can be in a large area like an arena or a pasture. And so it can be a mounted obstacle course, or they can choose to do an in-hand course. So obstacles are everything. We base our obstacles off of confidence, ground manners, horsemanship, and precision. So confidence be going over a bridge, going through a cowboy curtain, going through water, manipulating something like a slicker or a squirt gun or a pulley or a push around, something like that. Ground manners are going to be bridling, fly masks, sending your horse somewhere, leading them somewhere. Precision is going to be turns on the fore, turns on the hind, side passing, opening, closing gates, a maypole, just like you see the little kids doing, dancing around a pole with a rope. That's a maypole or a Spanish pole. Horsemanship is going to be your gate transitions, backing, ravines, uphills, downhills, that type of thing. Our goal with our obstacles is to test people's overall horsemanship, not just make it fast and scary. So you won't find it all being confidence things at our competitions. We want to see your horsemanship, your overall horsemanship. So an obstacle to us can be almost anything at all.
And is it like a pattern? Like, let's say we all arrive to the competition, and is it set out like showmanship or dressage, that there's a pattern and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 obstacles?
No, it's better than that. It's better than that. You don't have to memorize a pattern. Yeah. There's no memorization. We don't do that. I couldn't do that if I wanted to do that. I would forget what I was doing halfway through, at least, if I made it that far. So no, what's going to happen is at the riders meeting, you're going to get an obstacle sheet, and every obstacle is going to be set up on 3 levels. And you're going to be able to read that at the riders meeting. When you get to the judge, you're going to be able to ask questions about the instructions. They're not going to tell you what they want to see for quality. They're not going to tell you, the exact, handholds you should have or anything like that. But they're going to be able to say, you're going to be able to ask them, can I pick that up on the left or the right? Or, is that bucket tied to that rope, or is it going to slide on that rope? They can answer questions like that. So once they've done that, they're going to ask them what level they want to do. And you're going to choose in that moment. And, you perform the obstacle. They'll say thank you. They'll score you on the scorecard, write a comment down of what your biggest problem was. And then you won't hear that at that time. You'll see that online when the competition's over. And the only person that sees your comment is you. We call that the learning part of it. The only way you can improve your performance in the future is to know what you did wrong. So no, there's no pattern to memorize. You have the sheet, you carry it with you. You ask questions when you get to each judge. You choose your level at each judge.
And you get to talk to the judge before?
Yeah.
Wow. We can't talk to the judge. And if we want to, we need to have the TD there witnessing. How cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are very strict about sportsmanship. So you can talk kindly to the judge. You can ask polite questions, but you need to mind your manners for certain. So we do demand that.
No one ever talks bad to the judge, do they?
Not if they're intelligent. Nobody would do that. No, absolutely not.
I feel like this might be a good time to share the website.
Absolutely.
And go through it, because it looks like there's a lot on the website. So
we are all about data. We are all about information. We're all about learning. It's even kind of a cool opportunity for most of our riders is they can take our judge training. Our judge training is all done online. It's free. It's me. I'm the voice. It's a great way to understand our system. So if it's something you're curious about, take the judge training. It's a national 5-step certification process, and you can find that information under the judge tab. So if you see on that black bar there, it says judge, and then you can click the certification button. And so it'll line you out your steps. So you start with some reading, and then you take what we call our knowledge check. And that's just confirming that you understand what you read. And then you can watch our instructional videos. And that's going to walk you through everything from what to expect at an obstacle, how our scoring works, our decision tree, everything and anything to do with judging for us. And what's really great about those videos is you can watch them over and over again. They're even great reference tools for our judges to go back to right before a competition and rewatch the decision tree, which is in a flow chart on exactly how to score an obstacle. So it's a great reference tool for them. And then after that, they do what we call a practical judging exercise. Actually, before that, they take the webinar, which is an hour-long class with me, where we're going to be judging some videos together. So they get to practice judging, and then they can do even more practicing by taking the practical judging exercise. And judging 2 times is actually part of our certification process, because I always compare it to driving a dump truck. You can watch a YouTube video on how to drive a dump truck, but until you actually drive it, we can't say you can drive a dump truck. So that is kind of our philosophy on that. Our judges get to earn points just like the riders, and they're going to earn a $5 credit from us for every 50 people that they judge. And they're going to get pins for, acknowledging their points. They're going to get patches for acknowledging their points. We do ask the host to appreciate them in some way as well.
We do have a question from the chat. And that is, are these trail judges everywhere in the United States?
So we have hosts all over the country and through Canada. Now, I wish we could say we were in every single solitary state, but we're not quite yet. You can find our events. So if you go back to the website and scroll up to the top and click on events, and then you can use the drop-down box at the top there and narrow down the regions if you like. So we have the Northwest, Southwest, Midwest, Southeast, South, and Northeast. So you can narrow it down a little farther if you'd like. So and then we have a Canadian host up in Alberta right now, and we're looking to add to that this year. So we're international. We're very excited about that. Yeah. The other thing that makes us a little bit unique with that is our national and regional tournaments are accumulative points throughout the year. It's not an event you have to travel long distance to be able to compete in. It's an accumulation of your points throughout the year. So it gives everybody that actually the ability to compete nationally and regionally.
I love this website. Sorry, Steph, I just wanted to make the comment. This is just really clear. We
are very intuitive. We're very organized. Our hosting system is incredibly organized. It's pretty much an event in a box. We even have a checklist, which I'm all about the checklist. Love the checklist. So we are very, very organized. We're very, we have a flow chart for scoring. It's very intuitive. It's very logical. It's very straightforward. I'm glad that you're having that experience. Now, some other areas, if you want to learn about our tournaments, you can go to the tournament section. In the tournament section to find out how the tournaments work, what they're based on. See the little eye that's in the second column from the right? You can click on that, and that shows you all the ways, that your points are going to be acknowledged and how to qualify for it, what you will get for that tournament. Some of them are, actual buckles or vests or jackets. patches, conchos, there's different things that we do. And then our hosts also have the ability to put on tournaments that, if they'd like. So for instance, if you go down to the Southeast, you'll see that the Florida State has, we're doing our own buckle series in the state of Florida. So, which is always lots of fun. And our system will fully automate that for our hosts. All they have to do is upload their scores and the system tells them the results. And so if you pick one of those, like you can pick on the Southeast Florida Buckle Series and click the little calculator on the far right, and it'll show you the standings. Currently.
And what are the requirements to be a host?
The requirements to be a host. You're going to need to have some place to put on an event. So for instance, but you don't have to own a venue. So for instance, I use public trail systems. My ride partner and I use public trail systems intentionally because we want people to get out and ride their trail systems, to keep our trail systems. And the money we raise with our events go back into our local trail systems. That's just our personal passion. Some people use fairgrounds. Some people have their own arena, or they, I have several hosts that they just have a large field. It's on their property. They have a 5-acre field to park in, and they have a large field to put on an obstacle course or an in hand. So it doesn't take anything fancy, but you have to be able to hold an event with at least 20 people. So you have to be able to park at least 20 people. And we have the 4 event types of in-hand and obstacle course, which are just a large area, a short trail or a long trail, so that you can utilize what you have to use. So you can utilize almost anywhere that you have a little parking.
So who sets up like the obstacles on the trails?
That's the host.
Okay, it is the host.
We are not coming to set anything up or run anything for you. We're going to train the hosts, and we're going to train all their judges. And so they're bringing the people, they're bringing the stuff, but you can set up an obstacle course. I can almost guarantee you can walk into your barn and have the things to set up an obstacle course. We're horse people. We have poles, we have cones, we have barrels, we have ropes. We have all of those things to put on an obstacle course with. You don't have to have a sky bridge. I mean, if you do, cool, but you don't have to have that. I put on events on public trail systems. I can't have anything permanent. Anything I bring in, I physically have to bring it in, so, it's fully possible to do it just with things that you already have. But so what it's going to take, a good host is somebody who is organized, who knows how to delegate, who, has a couple people to help them out. They need to be able to have at least 4 judges, sometimes up to 8, depending on how many people they have coming. They need to have, 1 or 2 people to help them with scoring and registration. And maybe a couple of those judges will help them set up obstacles, that type of thing. So you have to have a network of people. You can't do it by yourself, but, that's generally going to be your host material. It's somebody who's, has a network, who has, the ability to be organized and run something in a professional manner.
Trailer loading. That's a good one.
It is. We do get a little picky with that one. We always make sure the hosts understand it needs to be a wide open trailer, and it needs to be attached to something. And so with all of our obstacles and our obstacle library that our hosts see, it has hundreds of obstacles in it. It has the 3 levels set up already. It has setup instructions, and it has the diagrams that you're seeing. We don't have build instructions, but sometimes we'll have measurements, like if they need stride length measurements or rope length measurements, that type of thing. That'll be in there. But on top of that, we allow our hosts some creativity as well. So if they have an idea, I'm in for that. They call me and go, hey, this is my idea. And I say, super, maybe consider following this obstacle as a guide to lay it out correctly. And then their obstacles have to come to us for approval so that they're set up correctly. So we want our hosts to build upon the same maneuver throughout all 3 levels, so that is consistent with their obstacle. So that's generally what our hosts use, but we build our library by our hosts getting creative.
And Megan is muted. Oh, there you go.
I'm here. So as the director of events, what does a typical day look like for you?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. So I work in all the time zones. So a typical day, just like everybody else, we get up and we check our email. I'll have, I work all the time, really. Because a lot of times I have to work around people's jobs, train them after work, before work, on the weekends, that type of thing. So throughout the week, I'm usually doing system walkthroughs with our new hosts, walking them through the system, teaching them how to use it, or I'm doing system reviews with hosts that are about to do their first events, or I am talking to potential hosts, or I'm doing judge webinars and teaching our judges, or I'm playing with my own horses. So, it's a lot of this and that, I guess. I also help manage a lot of the social media, so I'm working with that. And then, like, for instance, I'm trying to get things tidied up and organized around here today and tomorrow, because I leave Friday for North Carolina. And I'll be in North Carolina on Saturday and Sunday training 3 new hosts in North Carolina. And I'll be back on Monday.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It just involves a lot of time management and a bit of travel.
What does it involve to train a judge?
So the judge section that you saw, a lot of the training they do on their own time. They do the reading on their own. They do the instructional videos on their own. And then they sign up for a webinar. I usually have at least 3 to 4 a month scheduled. I try to schedule some in the morning and the evening, and then one on Sunday once a month to accommodate people's schedules. So once they go through that video training, then they do the practical judging exercise, which is more videos that they watch on their own time. So that's what it takes to train a judge. And it's just everyday horse people is who we're training. What we're doing is we're taking their knowledge that they already have and teaching them how to apply our scoring format to that. It's not, we're not teaching them conformation. We're not necessarily teaching them anything technical as far as horses go. We are counting on our hosts to pick horse people that have knowledge and choosing the obstacle that's appropriate to their knowledge. So for instance, like I have several judges that I count on for all of my technical stuff. I have judges that I know are really good at understanding cadence. I have judges that are really good at calling people off. So I'm giving them a rope obstacle. I know they're going to call them off appropriately so that nobody gets hurt. So you just have to trust your host to gauge what their judges are capable of knowledge-wise, and then we're teaching them how to apply the scoring scale to that knowledge.
So do your hosts, do you provide the judges or, say, hey, here's who you're going to have, or do they?
So yes and no. We do have a fine judge section. So everybody who has taken our training can be found in our judge directory. But in general, hosts are gathering their own judges and training, making sure that people in their community are getting trained, because it's just human nature. People that know you are going to be more reliable for you than somebody you've never met before. So we do have some judges that love to travel. And so they'll contact people. I have worked with a judge that she's, here in Florida, and she's traveled down from the Northeast for the winter. And so she's reached out to multiple judges all along the East Coast and is judging her way home. And that happens all the time. I have some Northwest hosts that visit friends down in Texas that judge down there in the winter. I have Northwest riders that ride in Arizona and California and also up in the Pacific Northwest, and also judge that way as well. So, but predominantly people are having their friends train as judges, and that's who's judging for them. So we don't provide anybody with a heartbeat necessarily. You're going to have to generally build your team, but we're going to provide all the support and all the training for that.
That is huge. What has been one of the most memorable moments that you've had at an ETS event?
So what I love about our organization is it's very achievable by the everyday rider. I was at an event and I was helping the host. I was being Vanna. I was passing out the ribbons as they were announcing the winners. And I passed out a 5th place ribbon to the most adorable gal. I bet you she was in her late 70s. And she burst out crying. And I thought, oh gosh, and she was like, I've never won a ribbon before. That is the coolest. That is absolutely the coolest. I have to say my other favorite part of Equine Trail Sports is everywhere I travel, those hosts and those riders tell me that they have, their region is special. Because all of the riders are friends and they support each other. And, and it's really my joy and my honor to say, you're not special. This is normal. Because our riders don't know what the person next to them is goaling for, there's nothing to brace up against. And so it actually creates a very healthy, competitive environment where everybody is pretty supportive of each other. I put on an event last Saturday here in Central Florida. And I had a brand new rider there, and her horse thought she was insane. That she brought her to Cuckoo Town, and we were dragging things and why in the world. And her horse was pretty shook a little bit. And I will say I had some national top 5 competitors there. And some really skilled competitors there. And they were like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Just keep at it. You'll be fine. My horse was crazy the first time I started doing this. You just got to keep doing it. And I think when you can take really competitive people that compete on a high level and do it consistently, and them encouraging the new person to keep competing against them, I think that's pretty special. I think that's a really cool thing to be involved with. I know my judges enjoy it. I know my riders enjoy it. And, we enjoy seeing each other. At my last event, I had, another host there. Very commonly, you go to an event and there's other hosts there helping other hosts, and, judges, they know each other. They look forward to seeing each other, so I think that's probably some of the coolest experiences I ever have. Is seeing the camaraderie, seeing people achieve things, seeing people achieve goals, place in areas they never thought they'd place. I think that's really cool. We do something that's really unique too, with every judge gets to pick a shout out. And this is somebody that they want to acknowledge for some sort of horsemanship or sportsmanship, or maybe they stayed calm in a bad scenario or whatnot. I've literally had 2 people come up to me and tell me that shout out changed their life. It kept them riding when they were just wanting to sell it all, so, there's a lot of really cool things like that happen at our events, and make it very gratifying to run an event, knowing that you're providing that for people.
I see there's a section on the site. You've got events, but then you've got tournaments.
Yes.
What are
so the tournaments was where you're going to see the national and regional tournaments. And so nationally, we're going to recognize the top 5 people in every bracket, which is a cumulative points throughout the year. We'll recognize the equines, the riders by age, by bracket. We have a youth recognition nationally, and then regionally, we'll do the same thing. We'll have a youth recognition, a team recognition, rider, equine recognition, and then hosts can also run their own tournaments as well. So like the Florida tournament is a host run tournament. It's me and the other Florida hosts. The Northwest hosts get together and they do a saddle series every year. It's really fun. You qualify for it all year long, and then they do an event at the end of the year that you get to win a saddle at. And they do that for novice, intermediate, advanced. I'll get an opportunity to win their own saddle. So we have the ability to do that in a lot of different ways, so that they can set up something for everybody to achieve if they want. So the other section that you might find that people will enjoy on the website is the info section, which is, I believe, where you were when you were looking at the obstacles and the diagram. So if you go to info, you're going to be able to see like our event types there. You're going to be able to see critical components, like what are the judges looking for. You're going to be able to see obstacle information, so examples of obstacles. Because the most common thing we always hear is, oh, I want to watch one, or I'm not ready. You're never going to be ready until you go. There's just the way it is. Just jump in the trailer and go. Just, go do all level 1s. You get a point just for going past the darn cone. Just get on your horse and go. That's how you're going to get ready. But you can go to the website and you can look at the judging criteria. You can look at some obstacle examples. So if you click on the right, those yellow, you click those, I believe that'll pop up the different levels and a diagram of the obstacle, so you can kind of set up those scenarios yourself at home to practice if you'd like, and kind of get a feel for what you might expect at an event. If they join their regional Facebook page, they'll see that I post 2 or 3 of these a month on our Facebook pages so people can practice at home. So we give a lot of learning opportunities to our riders so that they can practice these things at home. And currently we even have a virtual competition going on for our riders.
What is the most common mistake you see riders make at events?
Tight hands. Their hands are too tight, and they just do it out of stress or anxiety. If you just loosen up on your hands a little bit, your horse will relax a little bit more and work with you a little bit more. Looking down, that's going to be a real common issue as well. And so they'll look down at the bridge, they'll look down at the object they're dragging, throwing their weight off, causing them to, not ride as well as they could ride, not allowing their horse to have their weight where they need to have it to perform well enough. Those would probably be the most common things I see. Tight hands and looking down.
You got to talk about the shop.
We actually work with a small business out of Oregon, and they provide all of our apparel and stuff. We're a small business, believe it or not, so we enjoy working with other small businesses. Yeah. So our team consists of me, the director of events. I'm here in Florida, and then we have Karen Van Gesten, who's our director of operations, and she is in Texas. We're based out of Texas. Oh. And then we have our webmaster, Everett Myers. He's based out of California. And then Holly Carson is also based out of Texas, and Miranda Holiday is based out of Missouri. So the main core of the team is Karen and I and Everett, and then Holly and Miranda are there as our consultants. So we are in essence a small business, helping other small businesses in the hosts, and then our apparel provider, that type of thing, to get through this world also.
What would you guess would be like the number of events that you club is involved in each year? There's a lot already on there, and I'm assuming.
Yeah. We range up usually about 200 to 250 events a year. But each one of those events can consist of 2 to 4 classes. They can do a 1-day event, they can do a 2-day event, they can do up to 2 classes per day. So a class would be an in-hand competition in the morning and a trail competition in the afternoon. So those are 2 classes. We give our hosts a lot of flexibility and a lot of creativity with their events. Sometimes they'll combine that event with a play day or an obstacle practice. If they want, they can utilize our rec ride feature, which is a non-competitive event, but it gives them that insurance that they're needing, the organizational system that they need. So our hosts already have insurance in place for them. We already have ribbons in place with them and all the training and support that they need for that as well. As far as hand holding, now they're physical people, they got to come up with their physical people. But it's our goal to give the equine community, a way to bring their community together and also raise money within their community. So our hosts can range from people that have, their own professional venue. Maybe they have a riding facility or a trail system facility, or maybe, they're backcountry horsemen, mounted posses, riding clubs, nonprofits. And some people are doing these, for profit. And this is part of how they make a living. We don't dictate that. We are a for-profit company, but we support a lot of nonprofit people and a lot of people just trying to get by in the world. So really that is our ultimate goal with our organization, is to give the equine community something to do and a way to raise money.
And what type of horses would you recommend are best partners for this?
The 4-legged kind. That's it. Every shape, size, discipline rides with us. We have everything from minis to drafts, everything. There's no limitations. We are not discipline specific. We are not breed specific. If you go to our tournament section, you'll even see that we have quite a few breed association tournaments. If you are a member of their association and a member of our organization, you qualify for that breed association tournament. So there is no limitations at all on breed. A lot of our in-hand events, you'll see a lot of minis at those. I call those moving obstacles, but yeah, you'll see everything at our events. I had drafts, I have POAs, mules, all of them at our events. And as far as tack goes, we don't have any bit rules. We require something going over their pole and a rein going down each side of their neck, and a saddle of some sort if it's mounted. We don't care what discipline it is, just as long as it is a saddle. We also don't have any dress code, so to speak. We want you to wear pants and a shirt. If you can accomplish that, you can come. For a mounted event, we want a 1/2-inch heel. For an in-hand event, we just want a closed-toe shoe. So you're not going to have to go out and buy any fancy tack. You can use what you have in the barn. You're not going to have to go out and buy any fancy clothes. Just wear some. That's all we want. And then of course the kids, if they're 7 to 17, they have to wear a helmet. That is required in our rules. But other than that, there's nothing fancy to being at our events. Now, there are some restrictions. We are a trail organization overall. So we don't allow tie downs or martingales because it restricts their head movement. So for instance, if a horse laid down in water and if they had a tie down on, they could drown. And so we don't allow that. But other than that, our rules are 2 1/4 pages. It's really designed around safety and keeping you alive is our common goal throughout our rules. And some, common necessary things you have to say in your rules. Be nice, those kind of things.
Have you ever been asked to develop something for driving horses? Because
I
I think
wish
of
we
like,
could do that. I
yeah, I
wish we
think
could
of
do
that.
that. The restriction to that is insurance. Driving carriage insurance is a whole nother ball game. And unfortunately, we can't play in that game. So no, that is the one restrictions our hosts do have. We cannot do anything with carriages. And it is commonly asked. And so I feel a little bad about that. I mean, I live in a carriage area. Our whole trail systems are carriage friendly in the area that I live. And so no, unfortunately, we can't do anything with the carriages. I wish we could, but boy, howdy, that grab a hold of your pocketbook when you look at their insurance. It's pretty impressive.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to host their first event?
Don't save anything to the last minute. Plan, follow our checklist. Building up to their first event, I'm going to be checking in with them pretty routinely. Just checking in, making sure they're using their checklist, making sure that they're getting their judges trained, and they're, doing their advertising. We have the advertising all lined out for them with pre-designed flyers. They just have to plug their information in, tutorials on that. Literally, I'll hold their hand and walk them through it. So I'm checking in with them pretty routinely. And so, that's just be organized, be slowly pecking at it. What's that saying? You can eat an elephant one bite at a time. Be taking slow bites all the way through the process.
How long do you, like, how far in advance, I guess is the question, of an event do you suggest people start the process for hosting? Is this like, hey, you might want to look at it hosting in 2027, you want to get started? I know it depends on like if it's a venue they own versus, like you said, maybe a public facility.
Sure.
If it's your own place, it's like, oh, okay, I know like my own farm like the back of my hand. But if it's a public trail system or facility, I'm sure it's a little different. But
well, the minimum we'll allow is 60 days. We don't feel like anybody can put an event on faster than 60 days. So that's the minimum we'll allow. If it's a brand new host, I would really like it if they got started about 4 or 5 months out, because that gives them plenty of time to gather their people, get their training done, get their judges trained, get things sorted out, get things organized. I would say, at least 4 months out would be most ideal. Now we start setting our calendar in October of the previous year. So if, you are thinking about it for this year, I would say get a hold of us as soon as you can, for this summer or this fall. If you're thinking about next year, well, get a hold of us, mid-year, or anytime you're thinking about it. And we'll at least start guiding you in the right way in the area of what to start, looking at, what to start considering, that type of thing. Now, if it's something they're curious about and they want more details, if you go to the host section at the top of the page and you click on host, see that blue button there? If you click on that blue button, now to get details, you'd have to plug in all your information. I don't know if you want to do that online, but if you plugged in all your information, then it would open up a sample of what our event management tool looks like. And so then they can kind of see what we have to offer them. And then what happens when they do that as well is it sends them an automated email with a lot of the details, like, how much are we going to make? What insurance is and what things they should be considering and that type of thing. So they're welcome to explore that. They're welcome to ask all the questions they like. I'm going to call them one time because I'm not a vacuum cleaner salesman and it's no fun for me to nag people. So I don't want to do that. Unfortunately, I don't have to do that. But so they can do that feeling safe that, we're not going to hound them to death. If they're just curious and they want to poke around, they're welcome to do that. They're welcome to take a look at it.
What exciting things are coming up for ETS this year?
Well, our virtual competitions, we haven't done that since the COVID days. So we're pretty excited about that. Our rules and regulations person, Miranda Holiday, is running those. And so we're pretty excited about that. This year, we've got the Midwest Horse Fair. We're really looking forward to that. We'll have clinics there every day. And that's always a lot of fun for us. What we do during our clinics, I always kind of feel kind of funny calling myself a clinician. But what we're doing there is we'll have obstacles set up. We fly most of them in our suitcase, which is always, I always think TSA probably opens up my suitcase and laughs a little bit and wonders what in the world. But so we'll have obstacles in the arena and riders, and they're going to have an obstacle sheet. And so they're going to ride the obstacle, and I'm going to judge out loud so they can hear, like, as a judge, what I was looking at, you know, how I felt about that, where it fell in our judging scale, how we got to that point. And then we'll talk about maybe how the rider could have approached it a little differently for, you know, better strategy or better quality. You know, that's what we'll do during our clinics. And of course, we'll talk about our system and hosting and judging and the different ways that they can interact with us.
Megan, did you sign up to do a clinic with AJ at Horse Fair to do a trail clinic?
I did not. I apologize.
That would be fun to see. Just going to say it. I think AJ would do very well.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting, the horses that really enjoy obstacles. We have a lot of people that, I mean, I live right outside of Ocala, which is the motherland of all horses, all things horse. I have dressage riders that compete with me. I have Western, English, endurance, everything, every shape and form of competitors are coming to compete with us and cross training with us. You know, so we see it all. We see everything and we love it.
I have weird questions. Sorry, Megan, I beat you to it. So I see in here you've got some like long challenges, like up to 10 miles. So
yeah,
if you're doing that kind of event, like how frequently does a rider head out onto the 10-mile trail? Do you send them out once every 15 minutes? Like, are they walking?
No. So that's a great question. Commonly, I will say most of our competitions are like the 6 to 7.5 mile mark. We don't have very many hosts that get as high as the 10-mile mark, but they can. You can see how many miles the trail is going to be when you register. So it'll say it's a TC and it'll say how many miles are with that. And they get to choose who they ride out with and when they're riding out, you know, to an extent. So, you know, if that time slot's full, they're going to have to pick amongst what's available to them. But a big part of our format is they're riding with their friends. They're choosing to ride with their friends and family. And that's very, very important to us. And that's a key part of our format. So you're riding out, you're getting the opportunity to spend time with your family and your friends and have a good time. And you're each getting to choose your challenge level when you get to the obstacle. So doing what you want to do. So we would probably, we ask our hosts not to send them out in larger groups than 6, just because any of us have gone on large format trail rides know that things can get a little squirrely. If you get too many horses together, you know, they start getting all herdy on you. And so we try to limit it the best we can. Sometimes if it's a really large ride, they have to do a little bit larger groups, but that's a general from anywhere from 3 to 6 is who they're going to ride out with.
So how does that work when the group approaches the obstacles? Do they just say, okay, so-and-so's going first, and they each just take their time? Each of them goes through it one by one? And
that's a great question. So what's going to happen is a group of riders is going to arrive at the judge. The judge is going to greet them and say, hey, you know, does anybody have any questions here? And typically riders are going to want them to read the levels back to them. As I tell judges, they're not doing that because, you know, they don't, you know, necessarily know. They're doing that to make sure that they're understanding the obstacle the same way the judge is understanding the obstacle. And then the judge will read back levels ask any general questions that they have, and then they'll say, okay, who's going first? And they'll let the riders work that out amongst themselves, who's going first. Now, when that rider comes up, the judge is going to ask them what their rider number, their full name, and their level is. They'll document that, and they'll read that back to them. Rider 121, Molly Smith, level 2. That rider will acknowledge that. And once they acknowledge that, then they'll ride the obstacle. Now, the judge would have also clarified to them, this is my start cone, that's my end cone over there, so they'll point out landmarks, so to speak, for them, so that the riders are clear on it. And then, typically the riders have kind of worked out amongst themselves who's going first, last, that kind of thing. And because that can, honestly, a lot of times, herd separation issues and whatnot factor into that. Some horses aren't as brave as others, so somebody's got a brave horse, they'll go first because they can be the waiter. And the other end, the goal on the other side, the not so brave horse can kind of go in the middle. So they got friends on both sides, so riders have kind of figured that out amongst their group as they're riding along the trail.
What is your personal favorite obstacle?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question. My personal favorite. We have one that I did this last weekend. It's probably not all the riders' personal favorite, but I really like it. It's called Move Your Bucket. And it's a rope tied to a tree. Probably about 12 feet down that rope is a bucket that's been tied to it. And then you've probably got another 12, 13 feet of rope. And then there's targets on the ground. And so level 1's just going to pick up that rope, back up and lift the bucket and then set it back down. Level 2 is going to pick up that bucket, move it over to the other target and then set it down. And level 3 is going to pick up the bucket, move it to the other target, set it down, pick it up, move it back to the original target. It's just kind of a fun one. I mean, I've done the obstacle myself. It's fun to set up. It's fun to design, if you've got a good theme. My ride partner and I love a good theme, and she's the master of all things creative. And so, so you can work it around any theme. You can set it up in almost any scenario. It's creative. It's simple. But yeah, it's still fun, but it's still challenging. It's a very challenging obstacle for riders as well.
That sounds super challenging. And on that note, is there an obstacle that majority of riders struggle with?
I think anybody can struggle with any obstacle. That's a really good question. But the whole point of our format is pick a level that suits you the best. If you struggle with the bridge, well, then start on level 1. Level 1 is just putting your 2 front feet on the bridge and then backing off of it. If you struggle with picking something up, well, then just because the instructions say you have to pick it up doesn't mean you have to pick it up. Go and stand next to the thing and then maybe say thank you and walk out. Your score's not going to be that great, but your relationship's going to be great. And your equine's going to go, oh, hey, this wasn't so bad. And the next time they're going to let you get closer. And then the next time they're going to let you pick it up. And the next time, they're going to let you move it, So, our whole format makes it so everything can be accomplished to a certain extent. Now, how well you score, that's practice and time. But that's all right back to the philosophy of just go. Just get in your trailer and go. If you can't complete the whole thing, well, you're going to get some points. Maybe there won't be great points, but that wasn't the point. The point is getting out there and doing something with your equine, having some fun, exploring some new places, exploring some new trails, supporting your community. That's sometimes that's the point. And then, once you've been doing that for a little while, maybe the first year you're just getting your feet wet. The second year, you're probably in the game, and I've watched riders go from, I'm praying for them as they're riding away because I'm really hoping they're going to live through the day, to competing in the top 5 in the nation. I've literally watched riders do that. And I think it's super cool. That they can go from they can't get anywhere near something to, they're fairly competitive, by the end of the year, by following our format.
Is there any environmental things you can put into, an obstacle? Obviously, like there's a water crossing you talk about, but I'm looking at the background sort of your website, and I'm like, is there any challenge that can be built into, like, I'm thinking eventing in cross country where you might have a bank that they might have to step on up. Like, do you do things like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
so again, we're a trail organization. Now, do you have to have trail to put on our events? No, you don't. But we certainly love it. So we have obstacles built around uphill, downhill, ravines, backing around trees, things like that. And so, yeah, there's a lot of, you can use logs on the trail. Those are side passes. Those are jumps. You can use water features with rocks in them. So maybe they're going to the rock, backing around the rock in the water, or maybe they're trotting around the rock in the water. I've used eventing courses for our competitions. Maybe they're, side passing the jump and then, yielding their 4 around one end and side passing the other side. You can use and utilize almost everything as an obstacle.
Very cool. Very cool. So we want to get back to talking a little bit about Midwest Horsefair, because that's coming up in like what?
That's probably one of our favorite expos to utilize. They are so organized. It is impressive. Their crew that helps you with your clinic, man, they are on it. I really enjoy that expo. We've done it several times. And we're always just blown away with how great their crew is.
Well, Megan, am I wrong? I think it's like the 50th anniversary of Horsefair this year. Is that correct? I think it says on their website.
It does say on their website. Now it is a big, like, I
think they got an anniversary this year.
It's an anniversary year. And I'm going to go look at that. It's part of their advertising, actually. 45th.
36 days and
45 years of making memories, they say.
Okay, 45. I was close.
I'm
giving them a little too much credit, but they've been doing it a long time, and
they have.
I don't know how long you've been there, but the venue changed. So
really?
Megan and I remember back when there were a lot of small barns, cold, so, now they're in 2 big barns, the 2 different pavilions, which is fantastic. So there's been a lot of changes, but they work very hard.
They do, and they do a really good job.
They do a great job. So, we're looking forward to it. Let's see, Megan, what else can we mention? You want to mention her booth again? You had
that and the schedule. On Friday at 8 a.m., you're going to be in Pavilion 2, and the title is Equine Trail Sports, Better Horsemanship Through Obstacles. Yep. And so you are setting up an obstacle course and have horses and riders. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Very cool. And then also you have a clinic on Saturday, 10:30 in the Neutrina Arena. Same thing, right? Obstacle course. And then also on Sunday at 10:30 in Pavilion 1. So, and you have a booth. Let me find that. It is booth 612 in the Expo Hall. And so people can come and see you in action as well as talk to you in person at the booth, correct?
Absolutely. Karen and I will be at the booth. We love to chat. We love to visit. We'll have our exclusive t-shirts there that we only sell at expos. So come, if you're our riders, come by and pick one of those up. They're buttery soft. We're super happy with them. We usually have a great time at expos. We get to talk to a lot of people that have been riding with us, and a lot of people that are curious about it. It's our opportunity to meet a lot of our riders and to meet some of our hosts that we've never met in person, because our hosts can go shadow with an experienced host. So we may have not have actually met them in real life, just kind of over the phone and the internet. So we really, really enjoyed that. We really enjoyed that part of it. Awesome. Now, are you both based out of Wisconsin? Yeah.
Yep. We're country neighbors.
Nice.
Block apart. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
a country block.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not far away from each other, although that's due to change in a little bit. But yeah, and we're going to be at Horse Fair. Barn Besties are going to be there, so we're looking forward to seeing you, meeting you in person. And Megan's got a booth, and Megan is riding, right?
I'm riding a lot. That's why I didn't sign up for the trail. I have 2 horses coming, and if I could, I would ride in everything. But
now, are you riding in clinics, or are you teaching clinics? What are you doing?
So on Friday and Saturday night before the rodeo, I get to ride with Mario Contreras, and we have a pas de deux together. So we're the entertainment.
Oh, how exciting.
I'm really excited about that because my longtime partner, AJ, who Steph has brought up a couple of times, he loves horse fair. I've taken him all over the country and competed in dressage. No, he loves horse fair, and he loves performing. He loves people clapping. So it's going to be really special. And then I'm riding another horse, Tito, and he'll be Dressage for All is our group. And so I don't know, I think it's Friday and Sunday we'll be going. And then I also have a little special treat. We will, AJ and I will be riding to live music, I think, on Friday, which I've always wanted to do.
That'll be so exciting.
It's a dream come true. And Stephanie and I, as well as the cameraman on Sunday, will actually be earning an award, a special achievement award for
good job
improving our horse community through Barn Besties. So super proud, right, Steph?
Yeah,
that is really exciting.
Yep, yeah. It's going to be a great horse fair. We're going to have a ton of fun. Nobody's going to get any sleep.
No.
We're going to eat all the wonderful fair food. We'll be at the acai bowl.
Awesome.
Place all the time, but yeah, Megan and I will be everywhere.
You guys have gotten the opportunity to interview some really neat people. I've perused your YouTube channel and really enjoyed that. That's a lot of fun. I love how your site is so community based. I think that's really neat how you guys have created that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We, to people, who just have their horses in the backyard, to big name riders, judges, trainers. Megan and Mr. Cameraman a year ago this time met, Monty Roberts and his family.
That would have been so neat.
Gigi Bailey, who's going to be one of the clinicians at Midwest Horse Fair. She's a extremely well-known quarter horse judge. We've, talked to, dressage riders and hunter jumper people, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's amazing.
Yeah. People in there, like I said, let us come into their backyard to see their little barn, and they get it set up. It's great.
Oh, that's so fun, and so much opportunity and just so much learning. That's
We've
great.
Been at Saddlebred barns, which I'm a little more familiar with. I grew up in the Saddlebred barn, but we've talked to Arabian people. I mean, it's just we want to learn all the things. So, and Midwest Horse Fair is an excellent opportunity for people to see.
It's so diverse.
It's so amazing.
It's so diverse. It's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. I love that.
And we get to meet you this year.
Yes.
So
I would love that.
We'll stop by your booth and meet you in person, and we're super excited. And thank you so much for coming onto our channel and sharing. I mean, I don't know about trail, and it was fabulous this last hour to learn about your organization, and it sounds like it's growing and it's huge and it's
Oh
fun.
yeah, we
Yeah.
grow every year, and we love that as well. You know, we love when we bring in a new state. You know, and we think that we're going to bring in 2 new states this year, so we're super excited about that. And yeah, no, it's always fun. It's always growth. It's always development, and we're always, you know, working hard to make ourselves better. And yeah, we love it.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for
and
taking your time. We really do appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Steph, do you want to pop their website on again just one last time? Is there any other way people should reach out to you, Beth, other than obviously Midwest Horse Fair and your website? Have we missed anything?
Facebook, you know, we have some great Facebook pages. We try to put up an educational post every single day on our Facebook pages. And so that we're constantly educating people about the tournaments, obstacles, you know, and how to register and how to get all of their awards. Our riders earn lifetime awards, and so we're always trying to educate them on how to receive those. You know, the riders earn them, their equines earn them, and so you know, we're just constantly working on education and sharing our system.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for all of your time, Beth.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you for having me. It was a real honor.
Yeah, thanks for taking your evening with us. We do appreciate it. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure the Horse Fair says it's, you know, a little over 36 days away. So people, make sure you buy your tickets to Horse Fair. Make sure you come to meet the Equine Trail Sports at their booth, and watch for Megan and I walking around all thing at Horse Fair. And yeah, we really appreciate your time tonight.
Awesome. Well, we'll hope for some beautiful spring weather in Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, that sounds like you're familiar with how Horse Fair goes. Usually we see
some years have been really cold.
Yeah, we there has been horse fairs I have been to where it's been 70 degrees like one day and snowing the next day. So you just
I've
don't know.
experienced that. Yeah. Karen and I are from the South, so we're, you know, we're not okay. You know, if it snows.
Yeah. Exactly. So we'll have a great night. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Make sure you guys come visit us at Horse Fair, right? Right, ladies?
Absolutely. It's going to be fun. It's always fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be
all right.
blast.
Thank you so much. There's the website. Check it out. But we will see you all on the next videos, and we'll see you, Beth, at Horse Fair.
Awesome. That sounds great.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.